Welcome back, everyone. CBS News Texas here on TXA 21. There have been many headlines recently involving border policy and a fight over funding for public and for private schools. Tonight, Texas Monthly is sharing the story of a North Texas teacher whose own experience with immigration has helped him connect with other students. Joining us now is Jeffrey McWhorter. He's photographed the journey of this teacher, and he joins us tonight. So first question for you, how did you come across this story?
Yeah, thank you. It's actually a bit of a long story as to how I came to this story. My family and I have lived in this neighborhood of Northwest Dallas since 2011. We go to church right across the street from Thomas Jefferson High School. And back in 2017, through some volunteer work, we started getting to know some of the members of the varsity boys soccer team who were Central American immigrants. And I began what is now an ongoing 7+ year documentary project following the lives of some of those young men. Roberto Garcia, the teacher, was the goalkeeper on that first team that we got to know. So he graduated. He wasn't really part of the first round of storytelling in that project, but I kept up with them. And in 2022, when he was hired to come back and teach at TJ, I found out about that and asked him if I could document his journey as kind of a next chapter in that project.
Yeah, you talk about him becoming a teacher at TJ. That's Thomas Jefferson High School here in Dallas. Again, of course, he becomes a teacher there at that school. Can you tell us a little bit about the immigrants and other people that had an impact on him along the way?
Sure. Roberto's journey was actually pretty typical for a lot of the students at TJ. He came to the United States at 6 years old, a familiar journey of a young boy being brought to the country, experiencing a lot of the common emotions that a lot of his students experience of feeling confused, feeling disoriented, trying to figure out his place in this new land that his parents had brought him to. He talks about, I wrote in the story about how he envisioned life in America looking like the movie Home Alone, where it's snowing all the time and he lives in this huge house, and of course found his reality to be a little bit different. But it was really school where he began to find his confidence. He talks about one teacher, his 5th grade teacher, Carmen Ramirez, who was herself an immigrant, and he talks about how she was one of the first people that was a model for him of what he could be here in the United States, and one of the first people that inspired him to become a teacher. And then later on, when he was a student at Thomas Jefferson High School, it was several other teachers who continued to invest in him, even when his home life was a bit difficult, and inspired him. In fact, one 22-year-old chemistry teacher helped him secure his DACA status, which he still holds.
Yeah, very complicated story to tell, but one very important nonetheless, for sure. We did pull a couple of quotes from students from your article. One of the students was quoted as saying that Mr. Garcia is like a dad for him. What's your perspective on that? Why is he able to connect so much with these students, you think?
Right. I mean, I think the answer is clear. It's because he's just like them. He is somebody who came from their neighborhood. He's actually not the only teacher at Thomas Jefferson for whom that is true, but he's young, he's charismatic. He's definitely a fan favorite, I think, of a lot of the students. He is an amateur boxer. He coaches wrestling, coaches soccer, and is very energetic in the hallways, always giving fist bumps, and of course, fluent in Spanish. He teaches Spanish, or at least used to, and the students connect with him. Of course, he's that cool young teacher, but also he knows what they've been through. Quite literally, he has walked the journey that a lot of them are currently walking.
He's been in their shoes, yeah, for sure. Anything in particular about this project that stood out to you along the way that you would say is sort of the first thing that you think about when you reflect on this project? What stood out for you?
I mean, I've been photographing and documenting the lives of some of these young men from Thomas Jefferson High School for quite some time now. And I think if there was one thing I try to communicate in my work is I'm really not a political reporter. I'm a documentary photojournalist, and my intent in my work is to simply show the lives of my neighbors to anybody who is interested. Like I said, I live in Northwest Dallas. I live a 1.5 miles down the street from TJ, and a lot of the reporting that we see especially recently in immigration-related stories, especially visually, you see the images of the concertina wire and, you know, dirty people standing in line waiting, and the stories are very grave and very dire, and not to in any sense downplay the uncertainty, the fear, the difficulty that people experience, but, you know, a lot of times it's a very narrow picture of their lives. And I look right down the street and see these young men who are living lives not too dissimilar from my own. And they smile, they laugh, they have quinceañeras and big parties in their backyard. And it's my goal to just show their lives as they are, because they're my neighbors.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for this discussion tonight. We really appreciate it. And of course, you can read his article right now. It's on TexasMonthly.com. It will also be in the February issue of Texas Monthly.